This is kind of big news since Maza previously called Mazafaka. Mazafaka. Go Joe show. Welcome to Too Busy Didn't Know. This is the weekly show where I round up the best science, business, technology news, and we talk about it. We look at it, and I discover, we all just discover cool things together. This week we got 7 things we're gonna go over. We got an awesome drone POV through a bowling alley. The flight path is incredible. Whoever was controlling it is awesome. We got Stadia, Google Stadia, video games online. You can play other people's screenshots. Sounds very Harry Potter. We got 3D printed hands being fast. Gonna use it for organs. It looks awesome. The GIF is gonna blow your mind. There's hackers hacking hackers. That's right, hackers hacking hackers. Some ethical hacking. Those Russian people can't hide. Their details are out there. A company that I found that turns CO2 into stone, which sounds incredible and kind of like not real. We got tiny robots that fight brain tumors. That's right, little tiny nanobots that drill into your brain and fight tumors. We got new cameras that are modeled off of Mantis shrimp. If you aren't familiar with Mantis shrimp, they see like spectrums that we can't even imagine, and now we have a camera that can kind of see how Mantis shrimp eyes see. And of course, SpaceX landed their SN10. I think that's what it called. That is what it's called. Can't talk today. SpaceX landed their rocket successfully. It's self-guided back onto the platform. And then something incredible happened. We'll see that video, all that and more on today's Too Busy Didn't Know, catching you up on this week's coolest stories. But yeah, we're starting here looking outside at Switzerland behind me. Looks at really nice day outside, sun setting, pretty clear skies. But let's talk about the first thing here, which is this drone bowling alley footage. It is awesome. I'm going to bring it up right now. It is, somebody flying into a bowling alley using a drone. As you can see here, it's at night. They're going to fly into a bowling alley. When this was filmed, I have no idea, but I don't think any of us have been to a bowling alley in over a year thanks to COVID-19. Fun fact about Joe, though, his dad was a professional bowler. If you look up my exact name on YouTube, you'll probably find my dad, who was a professional bowler. Shout out to my dad. Well done. Lots of 300s. But let's watch this drone footage and have our minds blown. Here we go. We can see here it's flying into this bowling alley. It's on a drone. It's like a camera on a drone. Like, this footage is incredible. This must have all been scripted. I mean, these people knew this was happening, and they bowled at the right times, I'm guessing. In VR, this would maybe be dizzying, flying around in circles like that. And damn, look at that tricky maneuver. How cool is that? This is incredible. Yo, this is an awesome behind the scenes look. Where's the operator, though? This guy, he clearly is cleaning his balls. That's what I look like when I get out of the shower. This is really cool. Yeah, this was clearly all, during COVID, everyone's got masks on. Like, everyone knew this was happening. It's a film, obviously. Little set. This is really cool. This bowling alley looks nice. I like this front house bar area. Oh, is it gonna go in the kitchen? Get out, dude. What is that theater? Yo, and where's the operator here? Like, there's not a person. Oh, strike, baby. Yo, that was actually really incredible. Whoever filmed that was totally rad. Drone footage. If you want to watch it yourself again, I'll put the link in the description below. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it probably wasn't very exciting to listen to. I should have described it a little bit better. But yeah, that was really awesome footage. So POV drone bowling alley. And then, maybe my dad can watch it and comment on if he thinks the drone hit a strike or not. Next story is the Stadia screenshot story. Stadia, if you're not aware, is this cloud-based gaming service that Google provides. And you can, I think, play modern games at really high graphical fidelity, like high graphic settings, over the cloud, just being streamed, from what I understand. And they added this new feature, which I think is really interesting. It's called State Share, where you can take a screenshot of your game or like a small clip of it, and then you upload it to the Stadia State Share thing. And you can see here a bunch of people have shared states from the game Hitman 3. And what you can do is you can not only view the state, so you're going to watch this person's going to open it, and it's going to start playing, but at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that there's like a play button, and you can click play, and then you just hop right into the game where it is left off in the screenshot. So it's almost like the Harry Potter images where they're moving, but then you can actually jump into it and then play the game right from there. I think this is a really interesting feature that could be used for not only game design, so having a game that relies on state sharing, and I've heard him mention that there's actually one already, but building a game that relies on state sharing, or if there's just really challenging games or games with high replayability where nothing ever really goes the same. It would be interesting where you can set something up and then somebody can just jump right into the game. For Twitch streaming, this sounds extremely interesting. Or games like Gary's Mod. If you remember Gary's Mod, back when Half-Life 2 came out, there was this mod called Gary's Mod where you could set up different physics-based events and scenes and people could download them and jump in. But with Stadia, you could just look at the screenshot, see a little quick clip of it, and then jump in and actually play it, which is pretty cool. I'm sure there's all sorts of creative uses that I'm not even thinking of, but that's Stadia's State Share. If you have any information on State Share or if you've tried it yourself, let us know in the comments below. And if you're not a Stadia subscriber, maybe you should check it out if that sounds interesting to you. So yeah, Google Stadia doing some pretty interesting stuff. Very curious to see who's going to use that as a game design feature. Next up though, Stadia, that was number 6. Number 5, we've got this 3D printed hand. I think you can already see it in the background. So we can see this hand. This is sped up maybe 150 times, which sounds ridiculously fast. But this hand is actually being printed in 19 minutes. Yeah, so I guess 150 times sounds about right. You can see here it's a 3D printed bio type of hand. It looks very flexible and flimsy. Gives a whole new meaning to the stranger if you're not familiar with what that is. It's where you sit on your own hand and then jerk off with it like a stranger is jerking you off, or I guess if you're a girl diddling yourself. So fun fact there. But yeah, you can print off your own stranger hand in only 19 minutes. And the company is hoping to use this technology, I read a little bit already, to print organs in the future, as it can do really fine details. So you could print out the veins, capillaries, and other things inside of the organ that you need for it to function. A heart, a liver, the lungs, whatever. But only 19 minutes to print this off. I mean, conventional means, as I read in the article, takes about 15 hours or so to print off something similar. So this is quite the reduction in speed, which means that hopefully we can have 3D printed organs in the future. This is really exciting for me personally because I actually have had 2 open heart surgeries and will probably need at least 1 more in the future. And if we could just print out a valve that I could use that is even grown or printed from my own cells, that would be radical, and it would probably actually help keep it viable for years to come instead of needing surgery every couple of years as the valve gets weaker. That's just for a heart surgery. I mean, there's plenty of other uses, whether it's a lungs, liver, bladder, kidney, whatever it is. Pretty amazing though. I mean, just seeing it like come out of the liquid like that, it looks like it's being pulled out of a deep pocket, but it's not. You can see it's only a couple inches of fluid that they're using, and it's some sort of binder jet technology. How cool. 3D printed organs on the way in no time flat. They'll be able to print your organ while they're cutting you open. Like, that is crazy, dude. If I'm getting a heart surgery, they'll be able to cut me open and have my valve printing off to the side. They can just grab it fresh off the line, put it in my body, barely any days, any moments old. Moments old. How cool is that? 3D printed fast. And then next up, another thing here is this Carbfix. It is turning CO2 into stone. As I mentioned at the top of the show, like, what is that? Number 4, Carbfix. We turn CO2 into stone. Carbfix provides a natural and permanent storage solution by turning CO2 into stone underground in less than 2 years. So apparently they grab CO2 from the air mixed with water, from what I understand. They mix it in this stone, or no, it looks like they capture CO2 from a factory. They mix it with water, in this like geometric building. Then they put it underground, dissolved in water, and somehow that hardens into stone. And you can see this live counter of how many metric tons of CO2 they've already injected into the ground. It says it's natural, it's low cost, it's safe, it's permanent, it's unlimited. And it's innovative. I would say it's very innovative. Here you can see, this is the building that they mentioned at the top, or that they referenced at the top. It's a pretty cool looking building that's capturing CO2. I'm guessing that this pipe is piping in the CO2 or the water. And then they're just putting it underground. And apparently this video explains what they're exactly doing.
Climate change is evident. Global warming
soundtrack
caused by increased emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases poses a severe threat. It's not only trees and vegetation that store carbon. Vast amounts of CO2 are also stored in rocks.
In 2007, we started developing Carbfix, a method that turns CO2 into stone underground, thereby preventing it from escaping into the atmosphere. This is in fact nature's way of permanently storing carbon, but what we did was find out a way to speed up the process using science and innovation.
So, how does Carbfix work? The CO2 is captured at the emission sources, such as the chimneys of industrial production sites or power plants that burn fossil fuels. The CO2 gas is then dissolved in water, creating carbonated water injected into favorable rock formations underground. There, it'll take a few years to turn it into stone through natural reactions, where it will remain for millennia.
Oh, that's fun. We're just capturing carbon from the air, putting it into water, sparkling water, Perrier, and then putting that Perrier down into the rocks where it just stays. So we're capturing carbon and just planting it for later. It's not like we're getting rid of the carbon. We're just saving it and removing it from the atmosphere, which is probably good because then we can reduce carbon dioxide in the air and hopefully reduce the greenhouse gas effect. Plus, we're, I guess, making stone. So that's cool. I guess the people in the future will have stone, or maybe it will turn into oil. I don't actually know how that works. Pretty cool though, and it seems like pretty, honestly, simple technology. You capture the CO2 from the air, you mix it with water, you make that Perrier, you place it underground, and you call it a day. Carbfix doing cool things, turning CO2 into stone, helping save the world. I believe Bill Gates invested in this company, and maybe Chamath Palihapitiya Perry will invest in it too, since he just took his SPAC money earnings and said he's going to help out climate change. So maybe he'll invest in this company as well, because he got all up in that GME thing. I don't know. I'm not a Chamath fan. So that's Carbfix. That was number 4 or number 3. I don't know. I lost track here. Number 2, hackers getting hacked. This was a fun story that I found out. It's always interesting when hackers get hacked. I'll read the important parts here. In the latest string of hits on the Russian dark web forums, hey, come to our dark web forum where we sell you things like credit cards and social security numbers. The prominent crime site Maza appears to have been hacked by someone earlier this week. This is kind of big news since Maza, previously called Mazafakas, Mazafakas, has long been a destination for all sorts of criminal activity, including malware distribution, money laundering, carding, the selling of stolen card, and lots of other bad behavior which we cannot talk about on this podcast or this show. The forum is considered elite and hard to join, and in the past it has been a cesspool for some of the world's most prolific cyber criminals. Whoever hacked Mazafakas netted thousands of data points about the site's users, including usernames, email addresses, and hash passwords, and a new report from intelligence firm Flashpoint. 2 warning messages were then scrawled across the forum's homepage. Your data has been leaked, and this forum has been hacked. Interesting. So some guy or gal, some very talented person, hacked the hackers, went on Mazafakas and got all their data and then leaked it back onto the dark web. So funny. It's been noted. Where did they say? They said Krebs on security reports that the intruders subsequently dumped the stolen data onto the dark web, spurring fears among criminals that their identities might be exposed. The irony. The validity of the data has also been verified by threat intelligence firm Intel 471. That is hilarious. Hackers, I'm sure, are not only hacking, cybersecurity firms like not cybersecurity firms, but big firms like Microsoft and other Chinese companies or Russian companies, these big companies, but also hacking each other. So it's nice to see some ethical hacker going on there and hacking the hackers and then putting that data out for anyone to enjoy. It's impossible to know who probably did it, but pretty interesting that criminal hackers are now turning against each other. Also sounds like some sort of HBO drama that could be written in the vein of like Game of Thrones. Hackers v. hackers could be an interesting drama. Shout out to HBO if you want that spec. Let me know if somebody's got connections. I'll write the script for you guys, and we'll get that together. Hackers from HBO. I don't know what we want to call it. Maybe we call it Mazafakas. Dude, yo, what a great name for an HBO show. Oh, dude, I want to make that so bad. Yes. Hackers hacking hackers. Number 2, again, because I don't know, I lost count of where we're at. The Mantis shrimp, or not the Mantis shrimp, we're getting to that next. The Bionaut Labs makes this little screw brain tumor fighting robot thing. We've been sold this theory of nanobots traveling in our bloodstream and attacking viruses with little lasers or little arms, like grabbing them and ripping them apart. Yeah, COVID, we're coming for you with our nanobots. But this company, Bionauts, finally made a little robot that we can see here. It's this, whoa. It is here. You can see it next to a penny. It's this little tiny bionautic robot, and apparently what it does, it uses the natural magnetic fields of our body to navigate they're aiming for brain, in our brain to the tumor site, like a drill. I mean, we can see a more close-up picture here. It looks like a screwdriver. So it screws into your brain, and then it can deliver its payload, which is filled with like chemotherapy or CRISPR stuff or whatever, injects it into the tumor, and then comes back out. And right now they're limited in surgery because it can only go linearly. So it can only go in a straight line into your brain, and it's generally bigger than this. This, however, can navigate itself, so it can go in through the bottom and then turn and go up and then go off to the left in an attempt to maybe navigate through just the brain fluid or other parts to minimize the damage that's being caused and maximizing the efficacy of the chemotherapy. I think it's incredible. It's awesome. It'll lead to really interesting things. At first, I was like, oh God, a screw in my brain. But as I read the article and learned a little bit more about how it worked, I thought it was really interesting and potentially life-saving and life-altering for people born with really dense brain tumors. There's this condition that they mentioned in the article, or other diseases. And I'm also curious how they can potentially use it for other invasive surgeries in either bigger organs like lungs or heart or kidneys, whatever, or in our gut, and to see if we can maybe even use it for better targeted treatment of cancer as a whole. So I thought that was pretty cool. Little screw that goes inside our brain. Obviously, they have no pictures of it, but it is a very promising thing, and they have had some great investments. Number 1, see, like a mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimp are really cool. Let me see here if I can pick up a picture of a mantis shrimp. Yeah, here's what a mantis shrimp looks like. They can see the world like no other animal. They can see visual spectrums that we just can't even think of or imagine. So here we can see their eyes and high electron microscope probably. They look insane. They have these colors on it, and they see the world much like this in this crazy color. I remember an internet meme video that went around years ago about the mantis shrimp and how awesome they were. I don't remember who it came from. Maybe XKDC, XDCK. I don't remember what it is. XKDC, I think that's the name of the webcomic. And how awesome they are. And you can see them here. And using how we think that they see, we've developed a new camera, as we can see here, that can see in the frequencies that they can. So there's ultraviolet, there's low light, and then there is this like infrared. And there's a video of it here of them testing it with some driving footage. So you can see here on the left, this is low lighting conditions and it's very foggy. You get a very clear picture through the fog. You get the infrared, so you can see deep into space where you couldn't see before. And then on the right hand side, it also gives you another weird kind of vision thing, heat / ultrasonic. I don't even know what it is, but you could see here that there's a person being identified on the right hand side, or biker, in the ultraviolet spectrum compared to the the infrared spectrum in the middle. They're starting to appear now on that film and starting to disappear on the ultraviolet. So you can see really far with the ultraviolet, medium distances with the infrared, and then in low light conditions, and kind of get a clear picture through the fog with whatever they're using on this one, low light camera. Totally cool, very interesting. It's going to help us with self-driving cars and self-navigating in dark conditions. Maybe we can also apply it to, I don't know, military technology to empower them to see deeper into the field at night, or on cameras for monitoring or keeping things safe, or even on our phones for more detailed pictures or clearer pictures at night. It'll make our way eventually into phones. It'll be really interesting if it gets into mixed reality or augmented reality to actually give us the ability to see with a goggle that gives us ultraviolet recognition or infrared recognition. It'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I love that we're using animal stuff to kind of be influenced by them or build new technology. I think that's pretty awesome. And number 0, the extra bonus feature is the SpaceX landing. We can see here the SpaceX rocket self-righting itself. That looks like a mock-up, and then we're going to cut over to the real thing on how they wanted it to work. Yeah, so here's the real thing. It self-rights itself to land on the spaceport like a vertical drop down. It's absolutely incredible. It successfully landed. That was real footage. You can see it landed, and then unfortunately it decided it wanted to do liftoff again. And a couple moments later, as we can see here, it blew the fuck up. No more rocket, but that wasn't the test. The test was to see if the self-righting mechanisms could help it land back on the ground from space. The Starship SN-10. I was right earlier in the video, but then it decided to retake off and enter the stratosphere. Blown up. So sad. Goodbye, SpaceX. I believe Elon Musk or whoever made a joke about how it was honorably discharging itself. And that's it. That was today's Too Busy Didn't Know top 7 things. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button and mash that bell to get a notification every time I upload a new video. This Too Busy Didn't Know show comes out every Wednesday, so come back and join me here to hear about the latest and greatest in science, business, news, and technology. If you find something cool, you can also send it to me at hijoeshow@gmail.com. But until next time, I hope you read about or find something cool, because you know it. I love you.